Just a little side note, we seem to be having some minor technical difficulties on my end. Please stay tuned. Things will commence very shortly. Thank you. All right, and already we seem to be up. Man, that's and also the music's this is gonna run out in a second. Hopefully everyone can hear me. There the music goes. Let's just pretend that the music's still there, like that, and then we will kick off the show intro. Hopefully in just a bit here. So let me just type some stuff out. Bear with me, everyone. Let's see. Gratuitous audience pandering. That's right. That's what it was. Yes. Hello and welcome everyone to the show. Man, what a fun time this was, just to get everything set up. I'll talk at length about this in a bit. For those of you who are watching on either Twitch or YouTube, there is a Discord chat to join. I will paste the link in the Discord chat, and people who want to be part of the show can be part of the show. And those who don't, that's cool. You know, we're just here to have a good time. We're just here to hang out and chat for a sec. I'll tell you a little bit about the show format when we get a bit further in. But let me quickly get you guys a Discord link, and then I can lean back, because I think we're actually broadcasting on Twitch, on YouTube. We should be on Slay Raider as well. Everything should be running now. Hopefully, no more craziness. Let's see, what will we start off with? I think we will play a little bit of Berserk. Can't go wrong with Berserk, but let's take something we haven't heard in a while. I'm going to go with his numero uno, yeah, that'll be fun. In fact, let me just turn on Discord. Hopefully that works now. Yes. Yes, Discord is now up. You can chat. We can see what's going to happen. Sorry for the break. Berserk, take it away. I'll be right back after this upcoming tune.
See this boy Jim Bean rolled into town. Told him keep shit clean cause them G's around. Jim didn't listen, he thought he was tough shit. Drinking everything he saw, macking on every bitch. Flapping his jaws, he didn't know when to stop it, till he backed the wrong chick whose name was Hypnotic. Hypnotic is a bitch that belonged to Hen, and Hen a motherfucker you don't wanna offend. See, Hen is a member of the EPK, 80 proof killers and they down to bang. Jim didn't know the sock 10 in the jaw, and then Hen pulled his piece and that's all Jim saw. Jim hit the deck, Hen let loose, and then Hen called Jen cause Jen had juice. Jen stepped up, boy strapped as fuck, and when Jim saw Jen, then Jim backed up. Jim Bean had a crew, 3 white guys. It was Gilby, Goose, and his boy named Sky. All had heat, I swear no lie. 2 sawed-offs each and all strapped with knives. Here I am right behind the bar, and I swear some shit's about to pop off. Then out of the blue came through the door, yep, Jose Q from Mexico. Jose P's this vato slapping, he always pack gas, man, the boy is strapped. Never solo, someone had his back. Last name Daniel, first name Jack. Jen saw Jack and went for the throat, but Jack didn't drop cause Jack off the coke. Coked up Jack pulled out the heat, 2 rounds of gin and knocked him off his feet. Then shot back with a load of fofo. Took 5 shots for Jack to hit the flow. Jose Q, he jumped over his boy and took 1 shot, 2 shot, 3 shot, 4. Hen flew back through a table, damn. Hypnotic stabbed Q to defend her man. She a good bitch, she a loyal dame. But yo, Jim shot the hoe for denying his game. Now the only ones left was Jim and his crew. All scared as fuck, they jet out the saloon. Waiting outside with the boys in blue. As soon as they saw Jim, they blasted those fools. Everybody did, and my bar's a mess. But yo, that's what I get for working here, I guess. So watch your back, man, the streets is real.
And we are back. Boy, I will tell you, if it's not one thing, it's another. There was like 3 calamities all coming together, which is just insane. Like, everything was kind of not working. In fact, I'm still trying to figure out certain parts of what I'm doing. I think if I turn this down, I think this might affect the stream output. No, maybe it won't. That'd be great. Okay, so it actually seems like I can turn down the volume on my device, which is great, because you may have noticed that this show is maybe not completely 100% professional. It's not quite. Look, I've had a team of writers and a producer, executive producer, 2. What do we? Key grips? Do you need key grips on a radio show? I don't know. Let's just say I have a couple of key grips. Best boys. I like to think I'm the best boy, but I that's above my pay grade. And despite all of this, despite 3 buses worth of personnel, it kind of all came down in the beginning. And I will tell you a little bit about what exactly went sideways. We will talk about what the show is, why it's been so long in coming, and why everyone's here. But I really appreciate everyone showing up for this little test show. I, of course, want to extend my appreciation to Slagon and Ziona for helping this thing come on track. I also want to extend my appreciation to Boz, because I've had some on and off chats with him about doing a show, and he seems very open to the idea. Please don't reach out and correct his clearly dementia on that particular area. Just let him think it's a great idea, and mum's the word. It's just between you and me, right? Yeah, that's what I thought. All right, we're taking our first request of the evening, LP Chip, who wanted LP Chip with a little bit of Magic Johnson's Basketball. And admittedly, it has been a while since I've heard this one, so let's listen in together. I meant yes. Some nice LP Chip to start off the show. LP Chip's hanging out in the chat, and you can too. If you want to be part of the live chat, all you got to do is join the Discord via one of the links. I promise it'll be maybe not the best decision you made all year, but maybe the best decision you made today. That's as far as I'm going to go. Also, thanks to people who are joining us in the chat. I saw a few names. Banon, Castrain, Shargo, of course, is in there. LP Chip, who I just mentioned. Got Brittany B on the line. We also have, of course, Slegan Ziona. I'm sure Z-Duder's around. Immortal. Go Hanks. Bunch of peeps. Do please bear with me if I forget forget people. And I am mostly hanging out in the Plan Mix Play chat at the moment because that's where the Plan Mix Play bot is. In fact, I see Go Hanks even does give a little shout out and say, hey, he will be moderately active, which is everything in moderation, Go Hanks. You don't want to overdo it. That's smart. And I am glad to hear that just people are enjoying themselves, having a good time. I have a list of topics lined up, but as usual, time just kind of flies. We're already 1/3 into the first hour, so let's get that out of the way first. This is going to be a just below 2-hour show, and the reason for that is, well, it's never actually often been anything beyond 2 hours, but also because this is a lead-in. You know, much like Alphabet didn't join Spice Girls for their what was it, tour? I think it was the Spice Girls comeback tour that Alphabet was offered a spot, and they went like 9. They were like, we're not into that. We will not join you on your reunion tour. Instead going their own thing. But I guess they also, maybe they saw the writing on the wall. Like Alphabet is a really cool I like them a lot. In fact, I like playing them a lot when I do DJ. It's always, I don't know, there's just something about it. But I see their music videos, and I often think, Christ, for music this good, their music videos are almost a bit of a crime. Like, they could be so much better. And I'm sure, don't want to be harsh to whoever worked hard on producing them. They just look a little rinky-dink. And I get that a budget in Denmark for making music videos doesn't stretch very far, but still. Ooh, and Ziona's joining us in the Plan Mix Play chat. Yes, as I've said before, if anyone wants to be part of the show and actually be integrated in this highly, well, I was going to say critically acclaimed, but really there are few critics who are acclaiming it. I am. I see myself as a critic, so I will acclaim the chat. But yeah, that's, you know, join, chat, and maybe more stuff will come in the future. Actually, almost definitely. But I talk too much, and my ratings go down, as Fernando used to say on GTA. I will say one thing, though. It's been a while. It's been a minute. It's been a hot minute. My last show on Slay Radio was June 6th, 2021. That is 998 days from the start date to the end date, and it doesn't include today. So if we include today, it is literally 999 days since I did a live show. That's a effing long time. 2 years, 8 months, 23 days to be exact, or 32 months and 23 days. Think about it. And while you're thinking about that, listen to this. It's a bit of defunk with Driven 21.
Ernest Hemingway once wrote, "The world is a fine place and worth fighting for." I agreed with the second part. Ernest Hemingway once wrote, "The world is a fine place and worth fighting for." I agree with the second part.
I actually watched The Shawshank Redemption recently, where these eponymous quotes are taken from, and still very good. Still a goddamn solid movie. So who was mentioning? Let's see, A-Teens, Immortal. They've got like a. That to me reeks of like Venga Boys energy. Is that what we're talking about? Because that's what we're talking about. I think my brain has like its plasticity is not where it needs to be in order for me to enjoy anything like Venga Boys anymore. Like if I have had a drink or two and I'm on the dance floor and I hear Venga Boys, yes, I will dance to it. But I don't think I could get into it. I don't think I can get into it again. I just don't think I could get into it. I also I appreciate LP Chip, among others, already trying to break Plan Mix Play. And boy, I was sitting here thinking about the old days, the good old days when I was doing my first shows with Plan Mix Play back in Tokyo. And do you guys remember that I could not even take requests? Like the media browser in Plan Mix Play was so static that it read the disk folders when you booted up the system, and that's it. You were stuck with whatever was on your hard drive at the time of application start, and that was the end of it. There was no like that. Too bad. You want more stuff? Not gonna happen. And LP Chips chiming in. Yes, and there's still things that like are not good, but let me tell you, one of the big things, and this is big. First of all, there's never been a better time to give Plan Mix Play a spin. www.planmixplay.com. I'd like to say that I am contractually obligated, but that doesn't really work when I'm the founder or the person behind it. It's not as fun. It's more fun to say that I'm contractually obligated to compliment Slagon and Ziona, who are such a lovely couple, by the way. They really, I mean, and behind the scenes, so humble. You have no idea. But Plan Mix Play is now driven with a brand new front end, and let me tell you, it's it is leaps and bounds better. Even the old one had gotten functional enough that I still worried about using it, but I wasn't too scared. I knew generally doing all the things I needed to do wouldn't make it just spin apart. But this new one, I'm even more confident in messing around with it. Really, the most rickety edges of it is stuff like the window control. And that's one of the things that really fucked me up at the beginning of the show. So there is a service called Nahimic or something. And bless your heart if you've never heard about it. But it comes with some audio drivers or something. And though that goddamn service, I really shouldn't, be too cussy here, but that service basically really messes with everything. If two windows are on separate screens for the LP Chip says he's blessed. You should be. If two windows are on separate screens and that service is running, at least with the software I have and the application framework I use, it just breaks, and that service restarts itself automatically if you don't stop it. And that was one of the issues I was having early on, that it would restart itself while my application was running and I was beginning to stream stuff, and then all of it would just come crashing down. Bad. But things are better now. There are still a few features that aren't there. I used to be able to click on people's chat and highlight that at the end of the show. I'm going to give this cliffhanger away right now. I'm going to disappoint you in advance, as I like to say to so many people. This will not be a feature of the show for tonight. Hopefully it's coming soon, but there will be no highlights. In fact, I don't even know if it tracks what people do, because the chat system was adapted to the older chat. It's only recently that Discord has come into its own here for the show. But what we can do, and what's always been a cornerstone feature of this show, really an exclusive. Like I dare you to mention any other show that does this. Are you ready? Are you on the edge of your seat? It is play requests, right? What other show does that? No one. This is the first, universal first, playing the requests of the listener. I know it's new, it's modern. We're trying something new. And one of the listeners who would like a request to be played is Chargoose. I don't know who this Chargoose is. Maybe we can ask Chargo. No relation, I'm sure. And Chargoose would like Peter Clark with Ziona and Slagon and their track entitled Tales of Boone. So, guys, just, feel free to take it away. I gotta say, that was I hadn't heard that before. Peter Clark, Ziona Slagon, Tales of Boone. Also, well, so here I was, making a bit of fun and cracking wise about taking requests for the first time, and just to take myself down a peg or 20. The code that's supposed to update the stream title very helpfully always updates the stream title to Junk Song, when it should be Junk Host. Am I right? See, this is where I need Boz's soundboard to put in a bit of audience laughter. I also do not have that. But yeah, that does not work. And also, it likes to update the stream title at the beginning and at the end of every song, just so you're extra sure what you were just listening to. So yet another thing I can fix. Yes, as people are chatting, pro broadcaster. I'm SMRT, I believe. But that was for Chargoose. Like I said, no relation to Shargo, I'm sure. And that was a bang-up job. I really enjoyed that. And one good turn deserves another. And I believe we had at least one more request in the pipeline. Let's see. Yes, it was Banon who wanted Andre Miller with Cressfeld Shards. I have also not heard this track before. So let's just adjust this and put that over there. And we're good to go. Take it away, Andre Muller with Shards. And we had a little bit of Andre Muller there with Shards for Banon. So thank you very much for requesting that. So I was asked a little bit earlier about Discord and its integration. Let's see, I think it was, LP Chip who asked me a little bit about what does the Plan Mix Play bot do in Discord, what can it do, what can't it do, what features are we thinking of, and Gohank's ventured a guess, which was Discord.js. No, that depends on what Discord.js uses on the back end. It's a DPP bot, basically. And the features right now is mostly just integrating the chat. There will, at some point, likely be some triggers for it, but really I just wanted to get it back on par where the chat was before, hosted on the website, if you recall, because that thing is dead and buried and is not coming back, mostly due to how much easier it is to put all that implementational difficulty on the shoulders of Discord. And Discord is a fucking phenomenal chat system already. Like, why build a new one? And for those of you who are interested, and this is like Icarus flying a bit too close to the sun, but I am going to give it a shot. I put in a little bit of work prior to the show, which should allow me to actually show what I'm seeing on the interface side of things. So I'm going to pop that in here, and let me drop that on top of the visuals, and you will now see something that isn't the Commodore stuff. Yeah, there we go. So while not ratioed well, it's warped and stretched, you can essentially see that this is what I'm seeing while I'm doing the show. We can zoom out a little bit. You can see these are the songs we've been playing. There is the visualizer for that. And I have a few other visual elements that we can pull in. I may plug some of them in later, but honestly, I just want the basics to work for now. Because otherwise, I don't know, things will break and maybe this will happen. Yep. Now it's just a bunch of garbage noise. And I actually don't know why it's garbage noise with a weird little bright circle in the bottom. I don't know about that. Let's take that away. There we go. So that's what the interface looks like, everybody. For those of you wondering, it's a neat, nifty timeline interface. Yes, it is maybe not as, I guess, I don't even know if I'd say innovative. It's not as novel as the new interface, but boy, is it more usable. And another thing the keen eye observer will witness is that I have not planned anything ahead. See, there's lots of songs behind us, but there is bupkis up front, because this is where we enter my 1 hour monologue. Thank you, everyone. Welcome along, listening to me yammer for an hour. No, actually, we will probably check in the media and see what we can find, something we should play. In fact, I'm feeling like a little bit of Dax. Yeah, let's take a bit of Dax Outrun Magical Sound Shower. I love that song. Boy, that's one for me. So we're just going to slide that right in here. And then you can see as this playhead approaches, this is the gap I have to talk. So I have to time it really well and be careful to not go over the... Can't goad me that easily. Oops. Is it really that bad? You're right. Maybe I do need a bit of more ducking. Thanks for the feedback. But see, that's why LP chip, it lerps. It lerps down. It doesn't just cut. And there you have it, a little bit of Dax Outrun Magical Sound Shower. Boy, God, I love that song. And Go Hanks, you have a really good suggestion there with pinning the download link on the top of the website in the chat. I will totally be doing that. But first and foremost, Kasrain, you wanted 64 Bacardis, and I am not a man to say no to 64 Bacardis. So you can furiously hear me clicking away. That's right. I totally have everything lined up. I'm just clicking for fun. This is, it's a bit of a nervous tick that I have. I like to click things, even though there's nothing happening at all. It's just, that I just click. Here's Romeo Knight with Bionic Commando.
Hi, I'd like to have 64 Bacardis on the rocks, please.
Si, senor. All for you?
Yes, all for me, thank you.
Well, how do you want to carry them?
With my bionic arm.
Ah, that's such a good song. I really love Romeo Knight's version of Bionic Commando. So thank you to Casrain for not directly, but indirectly, indirectly suggesting that for your 64 Bacardis. And I see we have Tom Lemon of AV Sync Live fame joining us as well. And yes, as LP Chip has correctly pointed out, it's the Commodore 64, the good old reliable, as they called her. We've got another request coming up, and I could do with a bit of kicking back. So, Ziona, you wanted a bit of Berserk with Mislead. And she adds, I think this one is underappreciated. Thank you. Great to have you back. Thanks. Glad to have you back. I'm not just saying that because I'm contractually obligated, even though I am contractually obligated, but it is really nice to be back and do a show. And we're almost halfway through. And it's less than an hour because the end credits of the show take like 10 minutes. So I do have to wrap it up in a timely fashion. Do not want to bleed into Slagon and Ziona's show, but it's cool to be a little bit of a lead-in. And speaking of leads, aka misleads, we have that coming up from Berserk right now. And there we had Berserk with Mislead, and I would agree with you, Ziona. That is a bit of an underrated one. I mean, Berserk has a bit of a pedigree, to be fair, and I can understand. if people, I mean, holding it up to that, it's still good. I really like Berserk Mislead, but I understand if there are other people who are, or other people, if someone like, even someone like me would listen to that one and go like, yeah, it's good. It's good. In the pantheon of Berserk's work, it's maybe not in the top 3, but yeah. AVSync Live, you mentioned that it would be sick to have an ASCII music visualizer. It would. The thing is, I have a bunch of visualizers, and I don't pull them out too much for this particular show. Well, first of all, I haven't really tested them as much, and second of all, I'd want to transition between them. I'll show you what I mean, because hey, we're doing this thing here, right? And let's take a really good song for that. Let's take Blastinox Crack Out with a Blastinox remix. So I'll put that on, but I'll keep yammering, so we'll be a bit low, right? So we put that on here. Let's see. Yep, here we go. And then we'll add, let's take the columns, and we put that on top. And it's like, yeah, look, these columns are neat, and that all looks cool, but like, it looks weird. Like, why would I have that floating on top of the Commodore 64 stuff? Or we could also, I mean, now I'm pushing it a bit, but the neon grid should work as well. Let's put that in. I mean, this looks cool too, but I need transitional elements between these things. It's not quite there yet. And those transitions do exist. They will be coming soon. And finally, I think we have the 3D tunnel. That probably works as well. Yes, but that, when the music isn't running, and say, look, there's even some debug display up in the top left. No. I'm gonna leave you with Blastinox remix of Crack Out by Blastinox, and then I'll yammer on some more. damn, that song's so good. I really like that tune. Blastinox, crack out the Blastinox remix. And I do appreciate when I feel a little bombarded by feature requests, people are like, you should get a camera, and you should do this, and this feature, and also does that, no, this doesn't work, you need to fit, and I'm like, I'm only one man. But no, I do appreciate it. It's, the tune thing still works? I mean, that's the thing, I don't even remember, oh no, that's actually LP Chip putting that in the chat. I thought that that actually worked. No. Yeah, and there's a camera there, and we will have the camera back again. It's, it's... yes, Shargo, I know, 999 days. Shit takes time, man. So this is one of the things of, like, the stuff that I worked on, right? I shared a little in the beginning, and... The user interface stuff, I have taken the better part of the past year fixing that up, and I feel great in saying it runs smoother than it ever has. It is less crash prone than it's ever been. I am comfortable doing, like, I even feel comfortable enough to say to people, download it now and play around with it. Will it never crash? No, absolutely not. It'll be very wacky all over the place, but it is usable enough. It is getting there. And part of the tricky stuff about that, because I wrote the old user interface, and anything that faces the user is profoundly tricky to do without issues, because people will not use software the way you think that people will use software. Like, it's so much simpler to write, like any of these visuals that I've coded. Even the one you're seeing right now, this Commodore 64 widescreen thing, like that thing is so much more predictable in how it's supposed to work. It's a simple design. It works within a certain set of parameters. Of course, now that people can write and chat and break it that way, yes, that is more breakages. Like fucking Immortal, you nailed it. UI is hell. And yes, I did like the little gag there from LP Chip that it's a blue screen. Yes, absolutely. But it's hard. And so all that difficulty I have just chucked over to Chromium. It runs with Chromium embedded, that almost, I wouldn't say everything, but dig deep enough in so many front ends these days, and you will eventually hit Chromium just because it is that useful to use. I've talked a lot. Now it's time to listen to more music, and I've picked out a track by DJ Skits. It's Super Huey. Get to the chopper! Get down! DJ Skits with Super Huey Get to the Chopper mix. Good stuff. Good stuff, Skits. Also, in regards to what's going to happen with the show and Discord, a question asked earlier, I want to implement a few triggers, of course, and I want to make sure that the chats can be highlighted by me, because when someone says something particularly witty, I would love to quote that and have that as part of the credits at the end. Also appreciate Bolo7118 showing up and saying hi and ho. Hey ho, maybe. Nice with the chat display. Appreciate that. Yeah, a lot of work has gone into it. And there was something else I wanted to say, but now I've already forgotten. That's the problem with doing a live show. You sit there, you speculate, you see a chat, and you're like, oh, I should say this thing. And then you forget all about it. But it is working pretty decently for the first time. And I'm also very happy that it's all running on Discord, because that's just a much more dependable system thing. Yes, and Immortal points out you can have the bot display the current track. And yeah, absolutely, that shouldn't be too hard to work in as well. But I have some fairly sizable plans for new visuals I want to put in. And I sat looking at that today, and it actually looks like it shouldn't take me too long. There's some interesting things happening, but I prefer to just show rather than tell, so stay tuned. I guess it's worth mentioning here, I plan to do maybe one more test show before having a more regularly scheduled thing. The idea is to have a more regular show. I want to try and balance it a bit, because believe it or not, I'm actually employed from tomorrow morning. So, of course, the amount of time I have to just throw into this project is a bit limited. But if you want to help out, I would say just join in on the shows. That's a tremendous help already. And if you're even more interested, then go and download PmpVs Play. Any Windows, I think it's Windows 8 or upwards. There are a few limitations there. But the software should be in a stable enough state, and there should be enough stuff for you to have a little bit of a play with it. Obviously, it can't quite compete with commercial software quite yet, but that has not been the goal. Yeah, I appreciate it, Sharko. I'm also looking forward to seeing how that job will go. I'll do my best to interact with the chat as well. Yeah, boy, what was it? There was something I wanted to say. I've written down a show script as well, because always when I do these shows, I have a couple of topics I want to go through, but there's simply been so much to react to here the first time, and this is honestly the chat is teeming with activity in Discord compared to how it usually is, for good reason, right? Because there's a reason to be present right now. But again, as Fernando said, I talk too much and ratings go down, so we'll play Luke Hash with Alien.
As we play. Alien. Alien.
as we dream.
Bit of Luke Hash there for you with Alien, and Gohanks was asking whether PlayMix plays cross-platform. So I think the reason you might be misremembering that it was is we've spoken at length about this, Gohanks, and it has the underlying ability to be so. There's nothing it uses that couldn't potentially go cross-platform. In fact, even the framework that I use is cross-platform as well. However, if I wanted to, if you want to compile anything for a Mac, you need a Mac, and I don't have a Mac. And if you want to build it for Linux, well, that's much easier, of course, because you can do that on a generic PC, but it really comes down to developer resources. I am one guy, and there just isn't quite the same, like... Oh, and here I already started with Jazz Cat Moo. No, that's way too early. We're gonna stop that. I want to play that song, but not yet. I'm going to penalize you by making you listen to me a bit more. But yes, it's a matter of development resources, really. But yeah, there's nothing that really prevents it from running on Linux, especially even with the Chromium front end. That is still totally possible to do as well. So there we have it. Now I'm ready. Moog or Sebastian Bachlinski, please take it away with JazzCat 007. Okay, you can start now.
I've been asking for you all morning. Where in the world are you, Jay?
Well, I've just been reviewing an old case.
Oh, so I'm an old case now, am I?
The office. Tell him on my way, will you?
He is not on his way.
Yeah, behave. We'll do this again some other time soon.
Do what? Last time you said that you went off to Jamaica. Seen you for 6 months.
I'll be on there now.
Hey, you're okay.
Bit of Moog with, well, that is with who it is. It's with Moog. It's Sebastian Bachlinski. And boy, I love, I miss, well, actually, I'm thinking of Boz has such a goddamn good stinger for Rein Overhand, where it's Rein, ooh, that is... Boz, I bet you have better things to do than to listen. But if you are listening or tune in later, that is my absolute favorite stinger you've ever done. It is one of the fucking best ones. I am in stitches every time. Anyway, so there was there's a tiny bit of a chat. People chatting about LP Chip was talking about browsers and audio and running all that. So. To set the record straight, the front end, that is to say the thing that I poke at and prod and use the mouse to interact with, that's running on web technology. That's probably the best way to put it, because it's obviously not online. The actual front end is a collection of web resources, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and all that put together, and that renders the front end and sends messages to the back end. And now the back end is written in C++. And this is where I've had, it's always fun to have people ask, why isn't it written in Rust? Or why is it not all web stuff? I always find it funny that people ask, I know why, but what people really should start by asking is, well, why is it in C++? Maybe ask why it's in the language it is, and then we can figure out why it isn't in another language, right? I mean, I can also ask me why it's not written in Cobol or R or assembly level, right? Like, make a choice. You could write it in, well, not almost anything. The reality of it is that for my mind, yeah, exactly, Fortran. For my mind, C++ still offers you the closest to hardware, highest performance code. And WebAssembly, which some of you may be aware of, has come so far that you can now do really impressive GPU-like graphics stuff while running in a browser. I still do not know how well that all works and whether you could actually get the performance that I would want. I have heard rumblings from people talking about how they are working hard on getting game engines to run, because the sooner you get something to run inside of a web browser, the more compatible it is. But I would also make a note of, I do also enjoy LP Chip. Why is it not written in a book? Exactly. Why not a parchment? Papyrus. Anyway, AAA games are still, that runs in Unreal, it runs in Unity, it runs on a series of engines that are all coded in C++. And these are multi-platform engines. And I am sure that there are lots of teams who are looking at alternatives, but I will believe it when I see it, I guess is where I stand. But also, it's a legacy thing. Like, if I had to re-implement the entire backend in WebAssembly, I could sit here for another year or two, and I would rather not do that. I would rather do cool shows now. And this is where I lean into gratuitous audience pandering and go, would you rather not have more awesome shows now? Or would you rather have me be gone for another 999 days? Huh? I think we can all agree what that is. And I like, Immortal, you bring up an article that I already have looked into. I know exactly why President Biden, or rather, I think it's the White House. It's the White House press. They put out a press release basically saying, hey, please use something like Rust. And the title is, of course, has very limited information. It's all about memory safety. This is because we are going to see a lot more cyber attacks in the future, and C and C++, one of their biggest weaknesses is memory safety. It does not do any of that built in. Rust has that as like a nice little built-in feature. For the program that I'm writing, memory safety is a much smaller, it's a non-concern from a security standpoint. So President Biden and the White House can bite me for all I care. Between you and I, Biden, sure. That's another long story. The lesser of two evils, if you ask me. Speaking of less evil things, we're going to play a bit of Infamous with Foraf. So get ready for the bass. And there we have a little bit of Infamous for Wrath. I like that song a lot. It's honestly a little bit monotone, but yeah, I enjoy that. I am interested in seeing how the show will wrap up. Honestly, since the credit sequence is almost, I think, 15 minutes, we will likely... I'd rather not run over time. I don't want to, as I said before, eat into Slagon or Ziona's time, so I will likely trigger the end sequence in due time, maybe in a song or two. But given that the requests are a little empty, and that's also fine because we really don't have time to play that many of them anymore, I figured I'd actually dive into my script and have a look, because there was a thing or two I wanted to talk about. And one of them was Super Retro Squad. I wonder if anyone in the chat has heard about it. Please chime in if you do. Basically, and it's almost a decade ago, like this is so long ago, but I remember it like... basically the guy behind Super Retro Squad is a guy called Jay Pavlina, and he made a fan game called Super Mario Crossover, and it was basically smushing together Zelda, Metroid, Mario, like those games all smushed together. And to be fair, I'm probably not doing it justice because I didn't play it, but it seemed to have quite a fervent fan base. And this also speaks to, if you want to make something popular, you should take something that's already popular and build on that, if you can. But I mean, that's the whole thing about intellectual properties. You can't really just do that. Yeah, Go Hanks chimes in and says he's watching Slope's Gaming Room. Yeah, also Slope's Gaming Room. I like that show as well. So yes, building upon the success of Super Mario Crossover, this gentleman thought to himself, well, what a shame. I can't really leverage this fan base that I built on top of Super Mario Crossover, so I will make my own game. And it went to Kickstarter under the name Super Retro Squad. It pulled in about $53,000, which sounds like a lot, but if you are... So that on its own, $53,000... I would make the case that if it's a simple enough game, the game developer has years of experience, so they hit the ground running, and they basically have everything to get going. Like, the engine is already ready. They're using Unity or something. They just need to start. That is still a shoestring budget. It's not impossible if it's a single developer or two, and they live cheaply enough, you can stretch $53,000 out for over at least a couple of years. They wanted to write their own engine from scratch. I think the team immediately got announced to be like 5 people. They announced online multiplayer with 4-player co-op. As soon as I saw the Kickstarter campaign, I was like, this is never happening. Never. Not in a million years are you going to get all this done, particularly when you start with, we will be making our own engine. The thing was fucking dead. Dead on arrival right there. DOA. And looking at the comments, looking at the comments, people, of course, were rightly upset when things fell apart, because they did. It had this classic, a lot of energy at the start and really excited, and then as the months went on, updates started tapering off, and eventually the whole thing was canceled and the entire team was disbanded. And looking at the leftover comments there, you can see some of the last of them are people writing like, I'm invoking my rights as a backer via the terms of service, I demand a full refund. And arguably, this is before Kickstarter tightened the reins. Like, there was a time where Kickstarter would let you do this without a prototype. I'm pretty sure you can no longer do this. If you wanted people to invest in your game, I don't know, maybe he could call Super Mario Crossover the prototype, but I doubt it, because this would be a brand new product. And so I feel for all the backers, but the reason I bring it up is because I saw that he actually put out a video a year ago where he talked about him coming back, and it sounds like he had a lot of introspection. He really mentally did not do so well out of that, understandably, but I appreciate that his comeback video actually touches on his own shortcomings in regards to it. And in fact, I'd say he's too hard on himself, which I feel I'm often quite critical So you may be surprised here that even I'm like, I think he's too rough on himself. He calls it arrogance that he was like promising these things, and I'd be much quicker to just say like, no, it's just ignorance. You did not know. Like the Dunning-Kruger effect is real. So I'm glad to see that he's made it through. It sucks that people, lost their money, but also we're talking, I don't know, at most $30 or something. I think there were some pretty high backer tiers, but I don't think that would be a small amount of people. Before we get into a bit of CZ Tunes, LP Chip mentioned Unity and said, I really missed that you did not do a show. Would love to hear your opinion about the whole Unity paper install back when it happened. Yeah, actually, fun little factoid. One of the people responsible, so one of the higher-ups, someone who was hired by Riccatello himself, I actually interviewed with for a job. So John Riccatello knew a guy that I spoke to, and I also asked him about the whole debacle and got his inside story. And I'll give you my 2 cents is not exactly a hot take. It's, that was a terrible fucking move. They should never have done it, and it really showed that the people who were in charge did not understand how people would respond. Given how they had to walk so much of it back, and John Riccatello got the boot, it goes to show that they really didn't know what the hell they were doing. But yeah, it's insane. It's absolutely crazy that they thought they could do this. And even worse, they've now burned so much trust with people. You don't just walk that back and say, hey guys, all good? Back to normal? No. Now everyone is like, well, if you were so quick to move in this direction, when are you going to do it in the future again? So, giant misstep. It'll take them so much longer to build up that trust again. So, yeah, not good. Anyway, I will play this song, CZ Tunes No Mercy Endgame Remix. And then after that, we'll probably start winding down just to make sure that the credits don't eat in profusely into Ziona and Slagon's time. So take it away, CZ Tunes, with No Mercy Endgame Remix. And that was totally not me being not ready for the song to end. In fact, if anything, I was mystified by LP Chip already faffing around, sending messages that don't show up in Discord but apparently show up in the chat. There's a lot of stuff that isn't really working that well. Just to put a finger on it again, LP Chip asked earlier what was up, and yeah, it's the awesome work of some people who've built something called DPP, and that lets me very easily link into Discord on the C++ backend. I looked at a couple other things, and nothing was as stable or well developed as their library, and it's actually really good. Like, there's a lot of work to do. Currently, the bot doesn't do anything at all. I'm also quite annoyed that it eats all the emojis. Some of them it really should just convert, like the heart emoji, because there is totally a Commodore 64 heart thing. From the powers that be, I have been graciously told that I can run a little over, which we will do, but it won't be a lot. In fact, I'm likely to start the outro anytime. And my apologies in advance once the outro starts running. We can chat all we want in Discord, but none of it is going to show on the web thing. In fact, the more I think about it, I'm like, maybe it would be cool to have the outro running with the chat kind of as a little like bitty thing at the bottom. Because the longer the outro is, the more annoying it is that you can't have any audience interaction at the end. Because, you know, lots of people at the end will want to say like, hey, you suck, never make another show. Or I'm going to report you to the authorities, or my personal favorite, you should let people know when you move into their neighborhoods. Like that's probably a top number one comment for me to get at the end of the show. So we are getting to the end, but there's 10 minutes of the official showtime, and we can do a little bit more. So what I'm going to do is, in homage to Slagon, I'm going to play a track by him, which is The Last V8. This is a real good one. Haven't heard this in a while. I'm already looking forward to doing another show sometime in the future. But let's listen a little bit to The Last V8.
Return to base. Immediately.
That's one hell of a version of that song, Slagon. Featuring Necropolo, Harry, and Mimi. Mimi, as I can see. God, that's some good stuff. All right, we are going to be winding down the show. As I mentioned, thank you to everyone who listened in and people who chatted. And like Nata said, yep, can't wait to do another one in 2025, baby. I'm going to trigger the show ending. The credits are going to run for a while. You're welcome to stick around and chat. I will be in chat as well. But it does take a while for the whole credit sequence to run. Especially because I don't know how much of the interactions it actually will retain or use. In fact, it may be none at all, but the credits are still quite lengthy. So with that in mind, I want to again thank everyone for tuning in, coming along. I will be triggering the ending hopefully in just a second. That's also like I haven't done this in a while, so let's see. Should be happening in about 3, 2, 1... Yeah, there we go. The credits are rolling, and we'll let the first tune to take us out be Skits and Moog Final Groovin' Synth Sample 1. Right, no one was in chat. There were no memorable quotes, nothing, none of that at all. See, it works perfectly. Perfect system. And that was the final track of the evening, I believe. We actually happened to well, maybe we will take one more just in case, because I did promise going a little bit over. I was just surprised at how well that hit the dot. But I do again wanna express my appreciation for everyone who is listening in and joining us, and I hope to do another show soon. We'll take one more from Moog. Moog does such good wind down tunes. So take it away, Moog. This time with Tristesse. Thanks again, everyone, for tuning in, and stick around, because right after the break, it'll be the Leap Day show with Ziona and Slagon. You don't want to miss that. I'm signing off. See you again next time, but stick around for the next show. Good night, everybody.